In a new poll posted by Politico, majority expect Trump to win in 2020. I agree with that. And you want to know why? We just saw Democrats sweep in Virginia, take the governorship in Kentucky. They took the House in 2018. It seems like the Democrats are doing really, really well. And based on that data, wouldn't it stand to reason then that Trump is going to lose in 2020? No. All of that data proves Trump will win in 2020. Okay, not proves, but lends itself to the idea that Trump will win. Now, you may be saying, Tim, how does that make sense? If the Democrats are winning all of these things, how could that possibly be good news for Trump? It's simple. See, the Democrats who won in Virginia and the Democrats who won in 2018 were mostly moderates. Yes, those who are slightly to the left of center, not far left. And look at the 2020 field. Who do we have? Well, maybe Biden, but I really don't think Biden's going to make it to the primary because the activists are those who are going to choose who will be the nominee. In that case, take a look at the Economist numbers. I show this poll all the time, or this study, and they show that out of I think 79 primaries, out of 79 races, primaries, I think it was only 7 or 8 far left Democrats who actually won. And they won in districts that were heavily blue. But for the most part, the far left failed. It is repeated over and over again that centrists are winning. And it makes sense, man. Here's what I told people. Democrats, you want to win in 2020? You need someone who talks about the problems that Donald Trump is talking about, but without being crass about it. Because here's the thing. I get that some Trump supporters like Trump for talking this way. Most people... I tell this story. I was going to Glenn Beck's show, right? The Uber driver I had said he voted for Trump. He likes the president, but he just wishes he wasn't like, what's the right word for how Trump talks? Trump is brash, boorish, and he kind of just says whatever he wants. And it's off-putting to people. So tell you what, you take someone like Trump advocating for these similar problems, border security, free trade agreements, bringing back manufacturing, and you get rid of that character and replace it with someone who's actually got a spine. I'm not saying Trump doesn't have a spine. Trump's got a big spine. It's weird. Like Trump was pushed. I'm talking about the Democrats. Trump certainly has a spine, too much so to where he talks in a way that's kind of off-putting to a lot of people. If the Democrats really wanted to win, they'd find a candidate who was talking about the same problems that Trump brings up, but not so bombastically. So look, in the end, though, here's what you get. The way Trump was better than Clinton. And the way Trump is now is still better than anything the Democrats have to offer. And that's just it. Check it out. So look, you get it. Majority expect Trump to win in 2020. Here we go. Centrist Democrats seize on state election wins to rail against Warren's agenda. Yes, please. You see, here I am, a more moderate left-leaning individual. And I'm looking at Trump. And as I've explained it over and over again, Donald Trump and the Republicans, for the most part, are closer to the center than the left is. We know it. We've seen the data. The Economist shows it. The New York Times shows it. And so what do you think is going to happen for regular Democrats who are looking at Trump and like, man, I can agree with a lot of what he's talking about, but I don't like his character. I disagree on his more conservative approaches to, say, life and taxation, the deficit, etc. They look to their left and they're like, where? They're gone. I can't see them. They're so far left. They're all the way down there yelling about giving health care to non-citizens. This is why Trump wins. The centrists win in these states because people want a more moderate policy. And I'll tell you what, man, whether people want to admit it or not, there are a lot of people who don't like Trump for his character. So I say character is important. Character inspires people. People vote based on their feelings, right? So you might think that Trump is doing the right thing policy-wise. The economy is great. I'll give him that. But recognize, if you cloned Trump and created a personality who didn't have who wasn't as, putting his name in the lights and talking about how he's the best and the greatest, you'd probably find someone that has massive bipartisan support, except for the far left. That I contend. Those people are nuts, and that's the problem. The centrists know, and the centrists win. The Democrats who are winning are the people who are like, I'm not going to play the partisan game. I want to get things done. Not the people who are saying, let's give all your healthcare benefits to non-citizens. Those people don't win. AOC and the squad members, 4 people out of how many people ran in 2018? There were 79 primaries? 4 prominent members of the squad. Let's read a little bit of the story from the Hill. They say a group of Senate Democrats are arguing that big wins in Kentucky, Virginia, and Pennsylvania this week show why the party needs to nominate a moderate instead of a progressive candidate such as Elizabeth Warren. And let's be real. Excuse me. Elizabeth Warren is plastic. She is fake. She is Hillary Clinton who put on a Bernie Sanders mask to convince all of the progressives that she's the right person. But given the opportunity, she will go full swing establishment. That's what she's all about. These Democrats note that this week's victories in suburban areas that have traditionally voted Republican were scored by moderate candidates who ran as practical problem solvers and not as bold, big idea progressives in the mold of Warren or Sanders. But guess what? We don't have somebody running that way, running in that way for 2020. So I tell you what, man, the Democrats are trying to use negative partisanship to get Trump out. They're hoping that people vote against Trump and not for the Democrat. But you know what, man? I'm not convinced right now. I've seen some stuff makes me think maybe Trump can lose. And I've said it, man. If you're a Trump supporter and you underestimate the Democrats and their play with impeachment, you'll be sadly mistaken. Don't make the same mistake Hillary did. But I'll tell you what, don't be surprised when these suburban voters begrudgingly support Trump. Because here's the thing, CNN went to a historically Democratic district and guess what? No surprise. Locally, all voting Democrat. Nationally, Donald Trump. That's crazy, right? How do you vote Republican? Well, it's simple. It's not crazy. Some people are like, I don't understand how you could vote for Trump and then vote for Democrats. It's simple. The Democrats they vote for are regular Democrats. They're people who think the woke SJW nonsense is crazy. They are people who recognize what Trump is saying about border security and immigration and healthcare. And that's why they vote for him. And if you gave them a moderate Democrat option, they'd pick it. But when you give them the far left, they don't. So here's the thing. At the local level, there are way more races, which means more opportunities for moderates to emerge. But the other thing is, in Kentucky and Virginia, far left would never win because they're traditionally Republican as it is. So some people, it seems, are upset with the way the Republican Party is going. This could be the bad news for Trump. So moderate Democrats were able to come in. Now, I will say this, though. Under Obama, we saw a similar inversion. It seems like there's always a wave of people who are amped up in opposition, negative partisanship to the current president. Whether or not Democrats can get enough of that to win stands to we have to wait to see, right? 2020. Couldn't get that one out for some reason. But I think based on analytics, the Democrats are playing by a ridiculous long shot. Let's read a little bit more. They say, Senate Democrats need to pick up 3 GOP-held seats and control of the White House to win back the majority they lost in 2014. Republicans currently hold 53 Senate seats to the Democrats' 47. The key states that are targeting in 2020, Arizona, Colorado, Georgia, Iowa, Maine, and North Carolina, more closely resemble the battleground areas of Kentucky, Virginia, and Pennsylvania that swung Democratic on Tuesday than liberal hotbeds of California, Massachusetts, New York, which together have accounted for 48% of Warren's fundraising. That's another big issue, too. People like AOC, she's raising money from these places. The far left in hyper-centralized wealthy areas are being funded. Far left in California, New York, and Dallas and places like that are funding other far left candidates in districts they don't live. So that's an anomaly. When it comes to those local races where you might only have a few hundred to a few thousand votes, the moderates are taking it. They're taking it. Senator Mark Warner, who is up for re-election next year, said the candidates who won ran on more moderate issues and emphasized a Virginia-centric platform. He said he was not aware of any winners touting universal health coverage, for example. That's a warning to the Democrats, man. Not only are they advocating for universal health care, they're straight up advocating for health care for non-citizens. Tell me how that wins. I'm scared, man. I got to admit. Like, could that really, really win? Don't get me wrong. I'm critical of Tulsi on a lot of the things she's proposed. I just view Tulsi as someone who's willing to compromise, and that's important. I think I'm more likely to align with her on a lot of issues. I've always been on the left. I've always been, more of a Democrat voter, even though I think I voted for Obama, and that's like the gist of it, one time. So I look at Tulsi as somebody who's willing to sit down with conservatives and have that conversation and willing to do similarly to what Obama did. Not saying Obama was perfect, but he was, Obama gave up on his hopes for universal health care. He campaigned on it. He won on it. Couldn't get it done. And that's what I want to make sure happens. I don't want one of these crazy people to get in and say, I don't care what you think. I'm not your president. I do what I want. No, we need a president who's going to say, here's what I want to accomplish. but I recognize I can't trample over the rights of others. We've got to compromise. That's, to me, what sounds good. So interestingly, the last story, New Jersey, of all places, bucked the Democratic trend. They say that Democrats won in Kentucky, took full control of Virginia, but an unlikely state, New Jersey, bucked those positive trends for the party. Under the leadership of Democratic Governor Phil Murphy, an unabashed liberal who canvassed the state and appeared in $2 million worth of ads, they say, promoting his agenda, New Jersey Democrats lost at least 3 legislative seats despite massively outspending Republicans. That, to me, is shocking. New Jersey is deep blue. They outspent Republicans. They still lost. Keep that in mind. I don't know what that means. But all the Democrats are cheering about their victories, ignoring the fact it was moderates who won. Meanwhile, here in Jersey, Republicans actually won. So you better pay attention, man. Everybody's going to highlight information that makes their side sound good, and you just don't know. So in the end, the point is, once again, we can see the data. Centrism wins. Yeah, sorry, enlightened centrist here. It works. Compromise works. You'll get the biggest base by saying, I'm here for you even if we disagree. We can have the conversation even if we disagree. I will respect you. That's what we need to win. But the Democrats for 2020, that's not what they're giving us. They're off the rails, man. I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Podcast at 6:30. I will see you all next time.